ourselves so that being hurt all the time, we weren't going to hurt anybody anytime. What a time. And we didn't, and I insisted on that. It's our belief in action and how you relate. Because, my friends, I have found out that whenever your vertical, your up-down relationship with your Creator is in order, you're revolutionary, straight man to man is pretty good shape. You're all right. And then it goes on to say that when your ways please the Lord, He'll make even your enemies to be at peace. It's some strength. And you know, all you have to do is to read it. Now, you have to think with your own mind. And all of our minds are capable of thinking. May not think alike. Surely my mind didn't think like the segregationists. They asked me on CNN when this last man was, they always want you to say something. Last Klansman. And he was in the first bumming of my church. 56, Christmas night, and 58. Now you might want to ask me that. I ain't gonna try to tell everything. If I try to tell everything, you mess up anyhow, don't you? Well, they asked me, did I know him? CNN. He said, did you know him? I said, I didn't ever have any Klan friends. He was just a white man with some others beat me up. And then they ask you about, then they ask you, said, well, how do you feel about him? I said, well, I wish he would have told more of what he knew so we could know it all. We don't know it all now. You know that, don't you? Fact of the matter, if we knew, Odessa, some of your friends you have worked with in this city since then trying to straighten it out, they'd be in jail. Absolutely. Mr. Smile was head of an invisible situation where people who were teaching in a Sunday school, Bull Connor was a Sunday school teacher. Did y'all know that? Well, let me finish. I always believe that the preacher is God's first man. I mean, ought to be first to face issues. You see, and Martin Luther King said the church is a tail light more than a headlight. And when you got your tail lights on, you ain't going nowhere slowly. But headlights, you can put them on and get on down the road. And he said the church, now she read to you about some people who said something. Bishop Carpenter. Shall I demonstrate?
Yes.
You know, I went up to I don't know what faith that is, but I was invited up there near Mount Eagle where my kids were arrested.
Yeah.
And so he was on TV. And Bishop, he's supposed to be very close to God, My God, if your bishops ain't close to God, somebody. He said, they would ask him about how he felt about it. Or what did he feel segregation is going to bring? And one man, said blood's going to flow in the street, all kinds of stuff. But Bishop Carpenter, I thought it. And John Porter, who used to pastor the 6th Avenue Church, he just thought Bishop Carpenter and Bishop Murray were great speakers. He said, that man. I said, you don't realize that man just is an articulate segregationist. So he said, he says, and I'm up at their headquarters, and they wanted me to, somebody had heard me do that. I said, you don't want me trying to, say what your bishop said. She said, go ahead. These are the bishops themselves, under him. He's the head of the church, I think. I said, well, just for your sake, I'll say a little of it. I said, but he starts off like this. I thought we were doing well. You get the take. And he was big, he's tall, and he looked like a bishop, I guess. He looked like a bishop. He looked like he was representing. He says, I was one of those, the liberal sort, who thought we were making progress. as if they, he said, but we've been set back. That's the Supreme Court decision. But we've been set back. And then somebody else somewhere else asked him how many years he think would take, either he or Bishop Murray, I don't remember. I don't want to tell. You know, practice, try not to tell a lie, you know, let alone before you do that. But one of them said, he said, but I think it'll take another 50 years. And I said to myself, and my mama used to have a word when folks would say things. I said to myself something that I ain't gonna say in public. But do you know, it's really something. Let me now look at how long it takes me to read this. The prophets of old give us vivid examples of how the church stands up. When they stand up, the wall must fall. I think that's what Christ meant by the, quote, gates of hell, end quote, shall not prevail. It didn't mean, in my opinion, a man or a gambler or a wicked institution triumphant over the church, but it meant the church triumphant over them because people would be inspired by the Spirit of God, we're moved by the Spirit, to go out and crusade against sin and evil. And Dr. King said something, teachers, that's simple for your kids to remember. He said, if you want to, he said, make sure you take a position in life. He said, be this, that little thing, remember, be the best of whatever you are. Yeah. He said, but be sure to be against evil. And one of the basic bedrock beliefs in my situations which drive me is this simple. Trust in the Lord and what? You ever read that? Do good. And so shall you dwell in the land. So that's good for teachers, it's good for preachers, it's good for all of us. And that trust, remember, is the highest form of belief, the highest activity of belief. And it gets down to the point where Paul says, you know, I have all these problems, persecution and everything, but none of these things move me. So it didn't bother me whether the bull had his dogs or his fire hose. It didn't bother me. Because you see, and then I'll come to, have I about run out of time?
It's almost time for questions and answers.
All right. See, I'm noted for being a great violator, but I want to obey it. I got my record violated. Ain't that something? I was a notorious crook, according to Bull Connor. Yeah, but I want to obey in here. Now the bum, I'll get to that, and maybe you can understand. In 1956, and this was written, you know, that same year, now here I am writing that not one hair on the head of one white person. And they're trying to get rid of me and all my hair. But God is around, and real, and more real than we are. And I like some of these old phrases, like he says, sees all you do, hears all you say. That's fine, yeah, that's good. But the biggest thing that God sees about us, wants to see, is our heart, how we apply ourselves as teachers, as preachers, as what you really mean it with your heart. I said to old Dusty one time, not lately, that's way back when Birmingham was trying, and it's come a long way. You know, we got some hugging religion now. Don't mean a thing, most of it. You just acted like you going. It's easy to hug, you know. But your heart, when your heart is into it. You know what I tell my members? And have you ever seen folks shake hands and just lay their hand in there? No grip, no nothing. I tell them, don't lay your hand in mine. Shake it, put some feeling from the heart. Because a handshake means God be with you, is that right? If it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean anything, you're wasting somebody's time.